I don't know what the recommendation is.
I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Before we even dive into this courtroom showdown, you need to buckle up, because today's case unfolds like a slow-motion train wreck that everyone sees coming except the guy driving it. We're heading straight into Judge Tammy Hayward's courtroom, a place where nonsense goes to die, and sovereign citizen logic meets the brick wall of actual law. Today's defendant, Mr. Resto, walks in confident, too confident, armed with an Alabama license, a Georgia suspension, and a constitution he appears to have read from the back of a motivational cereal box. But what really makes this hearing wild is how many times he tries to argue himself into a deeper hole, while Judge Tammy, patient but unshakably firm, keeps trying to guide him toward reality. Add in Prosecutor Taylor, who looks like he's been waiting all week for someone to test his sarcasm tolerance, and you've got the perfect recipe for courtroom chaos throughout this hearing. Watch how the sovereign citizen talking points surface one by one, how every logical explanation is effortlessly dismantled, and how the judge keeps her composure even as the defendant attempts to negotiate fines he legally can't negotiate. And trust me, by the time this is over, you'll understand exactly why judges need hazard pay for cases like these. Let's get into it.
Resto, you have two cases. You have case number. You hear me?
Yes, okay. I hear you.
So you're before the court on 2019 CR 04954 for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, failure to display license, or failure to have license on person. I'm not sure, it cuts off, and no tag or expired or invalid tag. So that's on the first case. On the case from 2020 03114, you have a suspended or revoked license. You're represented by Lister and Holt on one of the cases, but not on the other. Did you want Lister and Holt to represent you, or did you want to represent yourself?
I'll represent myself.
On both cases?
Yes, ma'am. I have a quick question as far as law concern when it comes to driver's license.
Okay.
Okay, you're only allowed to have one driver's license, and I have an Alabama driver's license. So when I get pulled over, I actually show them my Alabama driver's license, and it's current. It's the most current, and so they make a determination if they should go off the Georgia driver's license or the Alabama driver's license. And when I present the Alabama driver's license, they let me go because my Alabama license is valid, and you're only allowed to have one. And I had Alabama license first, so I believe this sounds like
And there it is, our very first misunderstanding of the day. Notice how Mr. Resto confidently announces what he remembers the deal being, only for the judge to shut it down immediately with a simple no. This is an early sign of what's coming. A defendant who thinks he's negotiating like he's at a flea market, not a courtroom. What he doesn't seem to grasp is that plea deals don't remain open forever and certainly don't stay frozen in time just because someone remembers them fondly. When a case drags on, especially for years, recommendations change, statutes apply, and patience wears thin. We're only 10 seconds in, and you can already see the collision course forming.
That you could prove at trial. If you present that information at trial, then that means you want to go to trial instead of taking a plea. I don't know what the recommendation is, and I don't know.
Well, the recommendation was, I think I've been dealing with this case for an awful long time now, so yeah. I don't really want to go to trial. I just want to get it behind me. But I think that the recommendation, I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay, no, Mr. Resto, it's more than that. So let me explain why I know it's more than that. So the basic fines and fees for driving on a suspended license is the first time in 5 years. If you get one, then you can enter a NOLO plea if you have a NOLO plea eligible to you. And then the fine is $500. But if you get a second one, the fine goes to $1,000. A third one, the fine goes to $1,500 and 10 days mandatory jail time. You have a second one, which means that you might be able to enter a NOLO to the first one, but then the second one is outstanding. So when you took a plea to the second one, that would definitely suspend your license. So that's what's on the table.
Okay.
And the fines are hefty. So you would get a plea on the first one, and that's a $500 fine, which is $737.50. But the next one is going to be $1,000 in addition to that, and that's $1,420. So we're looking at almost almost $2,200.
Your Honor, is Mr. Resto represented on the particular case that we're referring to?
Well,
I
I
want to
don't
address
know.
him directly if he's
So-
represented, because this is a serious matter.
I get you. So that's why I'm saying, Mr. Resto, you have representation. I can allow you to be represented on both cases, and they can help you work this out. But understand
Well,
that
I was already represented by a listener in Holt, and we kind of been going back and forth with the district attorney's office for a while, and they've been giving me recommendations, and I still didn't take it, but they've been giving me recommendations. I don't know what's changed, but it definitely wasn't $2,000.
talk to your attorney and let them tell you what the recommendation they have on the table, okay? Because the recommendation, if you're represented, even if you're only represented on one case, the rec is probably going to come to your attorney.
Okay, now if I enter like an oral motion of dismissal based on constitutional grounds, are you standing on your constitution?
This is where the sovereign citizen flavor really starts seeping in. When he proudly announces that having an Alabama driver's license magically cancels out his Georgia suspension, he truly believes he's discovered some kind of legal cheat code. But here's the thing, states talk to each other. Databases talk to each other. If one state suspends your license, the others don't just shrug and say, "Not our problem." That's not how reciprocity works. Prosecutor Taylor already knows this, which is likely why he's suppressing a grin. This isn't a trial, and Mr. Resto isn't supposed to be arguing facts yet. But he can't help himself, and the judge knows this is only the beginning.
As the law would direct me to do so. So,
Okay. Well, I asked this question previously when I was in your courtroom one day in regards to the right to travel under the 14th Amendment, stating that citizens do not need a permit to travel with a horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile without interference by police. And I was on a public highway, actually, when I got pulled over.
okay, so
highway.
that's not actually in the Constitution.
And
So
I
the
don't
right to
believe
travel, the right
automobiles
to
were
travel?
around when the 14th Amendment was ratified.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I just wanted to point out to the court that
Watch how this moment shifts the energy in the room. Up until now, Mr. Resto has been casually discussing Alabama licenses, constitutional rights, and vague memories of old recommendations. But the second Judge Tammy lays out the actual financial consequences down to the exact dollar amounts, you can practically hear his enthusiasm deflate. This is where reality stops being theoretical and starts being expensive. The judge isn't improvising these numbers, they're statutory, meaning the law requires them. No discounts. No coupons. No bundle deals. And definitely no negotiating with the judge like she's a store manager. This is where defendants usually realize they need legal guidance, but Mr. Resto isn't quite there yet.
Necessarily a car if it's a household good. It's just a form of transportation. It doesn't matter if it's an automobile, horse-drawn wagon, or a carriage, because it's still a form of transportation, and citizens have the right to travel without interference by police. So I don't even know how the police are even allowed to interfere with travel when I'm not using my vehicle for commerce.
Your Honor,
And it's
Hold
a
on, Mr.
totally
Taylor.
private household good.
Okay, so Mr. Resto, if somebody drove 100 miles an hour into the back of your vehicle and killed a family member, would you want the police to interfere?
That's a murder. I mean, that's if someone got killed.
But they're traveling. You can't interfere with somebody traveling.
No, I mean you can't. It's stating that a police just can't interfere with your traveling, like pulling you over for a traffic violation or a tag.
But you want them to interfere if somebody.
Now, if you murder somebody because
say you don't murder them. Say you just hurt them. Say you just damaged the vehicle. You don't want the police to interfere.
No, that because that's when it almost becomes like an accident or a crime or whatnot. So the police can. That's not really an interference. An interference with your traveling, not an interference when two citizens engage.
This is peak sovereign citizen energy. Asking a judge whether she's standing on her constitutional oath is the courtroom equivalent of trying to stunlock a boss fight with a move you saw in a YouTube video. Sovereign citizens often believe that invoking magic phrases forces judges to dismiss cases, like verbal cheat codes. But Judge Tammy has seen this before. You can hear the calm confusion in her voice because the question doesn't actually mean anything legally. It's just jargon stitched together to sound authoritative. And this won't be the last time he throws out constitutional buzzwords hoping one of
Then, of course, public servants, far as ambulance, far as firemen, they would come to the scene just as a service. But for you to just interfere in my traveling is actually a violation of the Constitution.
Well, sir, the Constitution and the cases that have come out of the constitutional jurisprudence allow cities and states and municipal organizations to regulate travel for the benefit of the citizens. So they can put reasonable regulations on travel, meaning you can have a license. They can grant you the privilege of having a license to drive. They can regulate how your license is seen. If you don't have a license, or if your license is suspended, they can intervene to take your license away or your privilege to drive away. It is a crime. You can be convicted of not driving under a proper license. So the government is allowed to intervene in a lot of ways with people traveling. So I'm not sure where this information comes from, but there's a lot of stuff on the internet about traveling and the 14th Amendment and horse and buggies and even maritime law. But
I mean, an automobile was actually created before a driver's license was ever created. So people was actually their case pamphlets where people was actually operating.
Prosecutor Taylor's comment here is absolutely golden. It's not sarcastic, it's factual, but perfectly timed. When someone references a constitutional right that supposedly mentions cars, wagons, and police interference, it's worth pointing out that the amendment in question predates automobiles by decades. This is why sovereign citizen arguments fall apart so quickly. They rely on rights that don't exist, misquoted amendments, and historical claims that crumble under the slightest scrutiny. And the judge knows this. She doesn't even need to argue. The facts speak for themselves, and today, they speak loud.
So, Mr. Resto, do you want to resolve the case? Because it's not
I want to resolve the
40
case.
hours.
I disagree with the fine amount because it changed. I would I would make an offer like I can do $1,000, maybe 12-month probation.
Mr.
But
Resto,
$2,000, that's excessive.
Mr. Resto, we're not negotiating. Those are statutory fines, meaning they're written into the law. I can't even change them.
Can I make a counter offer to the state and say it's $1,000? Can I be?
No,
because I did do
sir.
time in jail. If the state would see that and count.
That's why I'm saying that you may want to speak with an attorney, because certain things that they can negotiate, I can't change the statute. I can't change what's written in it, but they can negotiate. And if the solicitor wants to give you credit for time in jail in lieu of the fine, those are things that they can do that I can't do.
Yeah. So I would ask to the district attorney, knowing that I did serve some days in jail, can you guys lower the fine and I just go ahead and in this case,
exchange is a perfect example of why sovereign citizen logic collapses under simple questioning. The judge presents an obvious scenario. If someone hits your car at 100 miles per hour, should the police intervene? Suddenly, Mr. Resto.
Directly without me being present, number one. Number two, the reason I keep saying you might want to go through your attorney is because they can explain to you what is already on the table and how that may or may not change, okay?
What's on the table now?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I would rather you have that conversation in a breakout room with the attorney who's assigned to your case and with the state, as opposed to here in the main room. One, because I have other cases that need to be addressed, and two, because that's not information I need to hear.
Okay, is it anything I can do to get this case resolved now? Because it's been lingering on.
I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening, Mr. Reston. Mr. Resto,
I mean, today, I want to resolve this today.
I get that you want to resolve it today, and I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening to me. I said you can go into a breakout room with your attorney And the attorney and you can discuss what's already on the table. And then if your attorney wishes to speak with the state to clarify anything, they can do that too. But you're not going to get it resolved by going back and forth with me, because there's
Okay.
stuff I cannot do.
Okay. Just tell the state that I'll take their recommendation. I'll just pay the $2,000 if they can give me 12 months to pay it off. And
Okay,
if I
but
can, and if I pay
sir,
it off early, if my probation